Chapter 10. James. I saw Alice disappear upstairs. I was sure she thought she was getting away while no one was looking, but since there was nothing happening on the second floor, it was hard to miss someone climbing the stairs. I tried to focus on the party. There was enough going on to keep me busy, but it hurt that she would run away so soon after our kiss. I didn't think it was that bad. In fact, I thought it was kind of sweet. I'd wanted to kiss her ever since that first day back in her office so many months ago, but I'd kept my distance. Knowing every curve of her body and the way she worked in bed, it was torture not being able to touch her. The divorce had gone smoothly enough. I didn't contest it. In fact, I stayed as far away from her as I could after my parents died. I just didn't think I was good enough for her. She needed someone whole, not a broken-down piece of driftwood like me. So I closed the door on that chapter of my life and never looked back. But since I managed to rescue myself from oblivion and build up a decent company with a respectable revenue, I considered myself back in the game. I had things to offer her now beyond old high school memories. I had become a solid contestant in the boyfriend market. Most of the ladies I came in contact with were planning their own weddings. I'd had a few hookups with friends of friends at barbecues or backyard parties, but nothing serious. There wasn't any sense of urgency in my mind. I enjoyed what I did, and it didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. Seeing Alice again put that all into perspective. Suddenly, I didn't want just anyone. I wanted her. A long time ago, she had been my one and only, the woman I thought I would be with for the rest of my life. That plan fell through, but since we were both still around and both still single, I didn't know why we couldn't give it another shot. She clearly still had feelings for me. There wasn't any misunderstanding about that kiss. She was reluctant to get involved, but once I tasted her lips, she melted in my arms just like she used to. It was pure heaven. But I'd broken it off because people were watching. When she left the party to go upstairs, I reluctantly declined to follow. If she wanted to hide, then someone had to keep the festivities going. It would look bad if both of us disappeared after a passionate kiss under the mistletoe, so I stayed to make the rounds again, filling cups with cider for those who weren't drinking wine or beer. I corralled some children and got them to help me make goodie bags. Each child would get to take home a portion of the remaining candy, emptying out the bowls and ensuring none of the sweets went to waste. "Can I have 2 peanut butter cups?" one little girl asked. "We're starting with 1 in each bag," I told her. She pouted but complied, helping me distribute the candy evenly. We made 19 bags, and when we were done, each child grabbed one. "Can I have a teddy bear?" The same little girl tugged on my hand. "I'm sorry," I told her, crouching down to meet her eye. "I don't have enough for everyone." "But I'm just one person," she complained. "How about you ask Santa for one?" I suggested. "Okay," she grinned, darting away to find her parents. I rose to my feet, gazing up at Alice's door. It was shut, but I was sure she was in there, probably working while everyone else was having a good time. She was only punishing herself. If she came down to enjoy the remainder of the party, I wasn't going to force myself on her. I didn't understand why she shut me out. She shut everyone out, hauling up by herself rather than talking to me. I was about to disregard all convention and just go up and talk to her when I got sucked back into another conversation. A few of the employees were discussing college football. They wanted to know my alma mater and whether I kept up with the games. Tearing my attention away from the stairs, I put on my best smile. If there was one thing I could talk about for hours on end, it was college football. One of the workers told a story about being caught out in the rain and loving it. "I thought they would call the game, but they didn't," she said. "They just kept playing." "Not like the NFL," another employee commiserated. People finally began to leave, and there was still no sign of Alice. I had to play the party host once again, walking everyone to the door one by one. The kids were all excited about their candy, and the moms and dads tried in vain to prevent them from finishing off the bag before they got in the car. "Can't wait to see what's in store for tomorrow," someone said as they were leaving. "Tomorrow's Saturday," I said. "Does that mean no party?" he moaned. "Because we're working." "You never know." I walked my statement back, not wanting to disappoint. It was true. I didn't have anything planned for Saturday. I understood that Alice's staff were working weekends, but I didn't have things set up for each and every day. The next event wasn't going to be until Monday noon, when we would do a board game-themed activity. Part of what I was selling was the intrigue, so I wasn't going to let anyone except Alice see all my cards. A man thumped me on the arm in good fun, ushering his children out the door. There were a few stragglers. One man was too drunk, in my opinion, to drive home. I forced him to stay while I ordered a rideshare. "What's your address?" I asked, trying to be friendly. "I'm fine," he assured me, shaking his keys in my face. "Rideshare is on me," I replied firmly. The last thing anybody wanted was for someone to get hurt on the way home from an event. That would look bad for my company, it would look bad for Alice's company, and it would cast a pallor over the whole month. I wasn't going to let the guy go without putting him in the back seat of someone else's car myself. He sighed, giving up easily. I had been prepared for a fight and was delighted when he slumped back into a chair to wait. It was only 5 minutes before his ride pulled up. I walked him out the back door, even though he swore he was capable of doing it himself. I believed that he could walk. I just didn't trust him not to go for his own vehicle at the last minute. Opening the door to the ride, I ushered him in like a footman playing host to a king. He grinned and shook his head, seeing right through my play. Wagging a finger at me, he disappeared into the car. I tapped the hood, leaning down to talk to the driver. "Thanks," I said. "I'll give you a tip as soon as you drop him off." "Will do," the driver said, pulling away with the last of the partygoers. I returned to the office and found my crew already cleaning. They moved in with such efficiency I couldn't help but feel proud. I rolled up my sleeves to dig in, grabbing the remaining chips and dumping them into the trash. There were cups scattered all over the office, and we still had to break down the big teddy bear display. I picked up one of the stuffed animals, ready to walk it back to the truck. I'd forgotten all about Alice until I looked up and saw her light was still on. One of my guys plugged in the vacuum, scooping up bits of food that had been dropped. I set the bear back down in its cubicle and went for the stairs. While I didn't want any of Alice's staff members to see me paying too much attention to her, I didn't mind if my own boys caught on. They were professional enough not to say anything to me about it, and too focused on their paychecks to care. "I'll be right back," I promised. Just as expected, they hardly looked up to acknowledge my decision, continuing to work so that they could get it all done and get out of there. I jogged up the stairs, barging in on Alice without bothering to knock. "You missed half the party," I said, surprising her at her desk. She looked up, her expression tight. I saw she had removed the ugly sweater, though it really wasn't that ugly. The blouse she wore underneath was shaped to fit her, cupping her breasts in a shimmering beige fabric. She'd braided her hair for the party, but now it was down and trailing gently across her shoulders. There was a pencil stuck behind one ear, giving her that sexy librarian look again. I knew she was hiding from me, but that didn't make her any less desirable. "I'm sorry," she said. "I just remembered there was a phone call I had to make, and one thing led to another." "Bullshit," I stopped her. "You're hiding out here because of the kiss." "What?" She attempted to play it off, as if I was crazy for even suggesting that she was afraid. "No, I really have work to do. I'm sorry if I missed your party." "If it wasn't the kiss, then you wouldn't mind proving it." I closed in on her, spooking her out of her chair. "What are you doing?" "If the kiss didn't bother you, then you won't mind doing it again," I said. "No!" She backed away from me toward the conference table, both hands up to prevent my approach. "Admit that you're hiding out," I snapped, coming to a stop because I had no intention of actually attacking her. "Fine," she spat. "I'm hiding out. I do have work. That part is true. But it's also true that I—" "What?" I demanded. She was so close to just telling me what was on her mind. I didn't want her to stand on ceremony. "I don't think we should have done it." She released the words like arrows to my heart, declaring me the enemy. "It was just for fun." I tried not to let her change of heart hurt me, but it did. "I know. People would have paid more attention if we didn't do it." "I know," she said again. "I just don't want to revisit what we had in high school." "Why not?" I couldn't help myself. The question was on my lips and in the air before I could stop it. As far as I could tell, there was no real reason to deny ourselves what we both clearly wanted. The tension in the room told me that she was barely hanging on to decorum. The rise and fall of her chest beneath that barely there blouse spoke louder than all her protestations. "Because," she said, searching for a way to finish the sentence, "it wouldn't be—" "What?" I lowered my voice, coming around the desk. This time she didn't run away. She just stood there and let me come. I stopped centimeters from her, aching to scoop my hand behind the small of her back and press her to me. Yet I held back. Something deep inside told me that it would be better to lure her in gradually, to let her come to me instead of claiming my prize outright. She cleared her throat, stepping back instead of falling into my arms. "I can't take you seriously with that sweater." I looked down, realizing my mistake. I was trying to be handsome and charming while dressed like a Christmas clown. My first instinct was to remove the offending sweater, stripping down to my undershirt to improve my chances of getting laid. But Alice stopped me before I could even reach for the hem. "Nothing is going to happen between us," she said stiffly. "We have 20 days left until Christmas, and then it's over. We'll part ways and never see each other again." I couldn't help feeling disappointed. "Why?" "Because that's the way it has to be," she asserted. "That's crap," I replied, unwilling to dignify her statement with polite terms. "You may think it's crap, but that's the truth." She stuck her chin out, and I knew right then that the moment had passed. She dug in, determined to toss me out rather than give in to her desires. "Whatever you want," I muttered. "We'll play nice in front of everyone else, but beyond that, I don't want to see you," she said, nailing the final stake into my heart. I gave her the biggest grin I could muster, knowing that only humor would melt the Ice Queen. If she wanted to pretend that there was nothing going on between us, that was her prerogative. I knew better. And if she was going to be so cruel as to run and hide rather than face the music, I was going to give her something to run and hide from. If she thought marshmallows in her hot chocolate were the worst of it, she was going to be surprised. A holiday war was brewing between us, and I was going to prove just how wicked I could be.